In part 9 of the 12-part 2013 Miami Hurricanes opponent series, we're going to talk about a team that is a perennial contender in the ACC every year and has won it 4 times. And that's the Virginia Tech Hokies, our opponent in Sun Life Stadium on November 9th. Now here's what you need to know about the Hokies. They are led by the legendary Frank Beamer, who's the dean of FBS coaches. This man has seen it all in his 27 years in Blacksburg. However, what's different this time is that he needs to bounce back from a terrible season in 2012. They finished 7-6, winning their final 3 games of the season. But this wasn't the Hokie team that their fan base comes to expect. And as a result, there were changes in the offseason. Well, let's break down the Hokies. First, I'm going to start with special teams, because special teams has been a Beamer MO for years. You know how they do their things there. They block kicks. They changed the game with their special teams, and that's what they pride themselves on. They have everyone back, which is great news for that unit. And they have a stud coming back in Cody Jornell, who came up a monster year where he was 20 for 25 on field goals, and 3 of those won games for them. Now, while he's 81% in his career on field goal attempt, his long is only 42 yards, and he's coming off a suspension too, so we'll see how that goes. At punter, you know they have sophomore A.J. Hughes back, who won that job last year, and will look to maintain it this season. But he's not the boomer type of punter. He's more of a coffin corner type. While he averages 40.6 yards per punt, he places 22 of those 79 punts he had last year inside the opponent's 20-yard line. Now Hughes' backup is redshirt freshman Hunter Windmuller, who the staff believes has a great future. Now, on kick and punt returns, the likely returners respectively are Knowles and Jarrett. The former was 12th in the nation in 2012 with 28.3 yards per return, and the latter was 9th in the nation with 13.9 yards per return. Now both of them have returns of 93 yards for touchdowns. Now if there was an issue that drove Beamer nuts, it was the kick coverage, because this is something he prides himself on, and that's what makes that team go. This was something that let them down last year, and it was addressed in the offseason. They were just way too soft in their coverage, and they missed tackles. As a result, they were 94th in the country, allowing a touchdown and more than 23 yards per attempt, and that's not vintage Beamer ball as we know it. But they've shown some strides there. With everyone back in Blacksburg, you'll see a good year, and you'll see some semblance of Beamer ball in 2013, that's for sure. Now defensively, you know what you're getting from a Bud Foster defense. One that's aggressive and edgy. And the 2013 version will be no different. They have back 9 starters. 5 of those honorable mention all ACC. Everything is there to have another monster year here. But the question mark is cornerback Anton Exum, who suffered a knee injury in the offseason. Will he be ready when that bell rings in Atlanta against Alabama on August 31st? Now, if and when he comes back, he'll have on the other side another excellent cornerback who could have gone to the league a year ago but didn't, and that's senior Kyle Fuller. Now, this is a third-year starter who wasn't as good as he was in 2011. That year he had 52 tackles, 2 interceptions, and broke up 7 passes, and it was named honorable mention all ACC. But you have to factor in the reason for his decline last year, because he was hurt most of the year. Now at 6 foot and 193 pounds, this guy has all the tools to be a very good one on the next level, and Foster will use him in multiple ways, that's for sure. Along with the cover skills, this guy hits like a safety, maybe even a linebacker, and has the speed and the savvy to be a problem for opposing offenses on blitzes. Now while Exum is out, look for sophomore Donald Van Manning to fill the seat until Exum returns. He did play 8 games last year, making 4 tackles and gradually getting used to the college game, which is a lot faster than high school ball. At 5'9", 174 pounds, he's added very much needed weight in the offseason. And he has the base cover skills to be ultimately a very good cornerback. And their coaching staff's high on him. Now at the Rover, they have junior Keyshawn Jarrett back, especially now with the retirement of Michael Cole to a neck injury. Last year he was second on the team with 83 tackles, 4.5 of those for losses, and he also broke up 4 passes. Now never mind the fact he's just 5'11" and 194 pounds. This guy has the swagger and the nastiness of a much bigger safety, and he can hit with the best of them. and this could be his breakout year this year. So let's keep an eye on that. At free safety, they have Junior Dietrich Bonner, who played all 13 games a year ago, and he finished 4th on their team with 60 tackles, and 3 of those being for losses, as well as breaking up 11 passes. Now he has outstanding speed, and his cover skills are very good. He's like a third cornerback in their secondary. Now we go over to their linebacking core. They really hope Tariq Edwards stays healthy all year, but he will be ready to go. But last year, if you're a Hokie fan, was tough to watch because he had a leg injury and he never fully healed and therefore was a non-factor. However, now with him healthy and getting his confidence back, this defense is going to be a ton better. And he has to be the man to help out the leader of that unit, which is Jack Tyler. And Tyler's backup is Chase Williams. And this is the guy that's going to be vital in Foster's defense to give short breaks to Tyler. But they're most excited about sophomore Ronnie Van Dyke. At 6'3" and 211 pounds, he has the range to make plays all over the place. Now they brought him along slowly, and he did start 2 games and had 21 tackles last year. But this year, Foster is going to unleash him. So this could be a breakout year for him there. Now we move up front. Now there they'll get senior James Gale back. Now with a Foster coach defense, you know they're going to have very good and talented players there. The impact player here is Gale. He's already an excellent player on the surface. He's the type of guy that can give opposing offensive line coaches and offensive coordinators nightmares to find ways to stop him. Now he might be just 6'4" and 253 pounds, but he's one of the best players on that team overall, and he runs a sub-4 540. He's also a 2-time second-team All-ACC pick that got a lot of attention in 2012 and still had 43 tackles, 11 of those for losses. Not to mention he had 5 sacks and 27 quarterback pressures. So these guys will rush the quarterback. Let's make no mistake about it. Offensively, if Virginia Tech's going to get back to the Virginia Tech of old, the offense must step up and produce. They were just pitiful as they ranked 81st nationally, both total and scoring offense. And as the season wound down, they only got worse. They averaged 19 points over the final 6 games, and a change was made on this side of the ball, as Brian Steinspring got the boot and in came Scott Loeffler, whose main job is to rebuild Thomas's confidence. Now while Thomas wasn't the only problem here, the focus of the Tech fan base on YDO was just awful falls on him. So Loeffler is watching Thomas's every move, and he needs to step it up and be that confident leader, not only for the team, but for his future on the next level in the NFL. However, this is not going to be an easy task. Now look what has to be done with the offense here. 1, there's a new coach, Loeffler. 2, a new offense, and very little talent with which to connect. There's uncertainty in the backfield. And you know, with a Beamer coach team, you know 3 things that has been his MO. Special teams, tough defenses, and a brutal running game. He doesn't have that. He has that uncertainty this year there. His top 2 receivers are gone. Graduation. Actually, really 3. And Thomas is going to have to step up and be the man this year. Now the running job is open and a battle to watch here. They're going to commit more to running the ball, and in the past that's been a Beamer staple, as I said. But in 2012 they averaged just 3.7 yards a carry. Now who will be the man to step up here? Think about this. None of their backs rushed for more than 500 yards in 2012. And you add the fact that no starter has been named yet. Now the leaders to win that job are sophomore J.C. Coleman and freshman Trey Edmonds, who had a very close battle in the spring. However, no one stood out here. Another option they could look to is Michael Holmes if he stays out of trouble. However, we'll see. The one guy that has to be the guy, and their staff internally really hopes, is 5th-year senior Tony Gregory. If he remains healthy for an entire season, look out. Though he did carry the ball 64 times for 311 yards and 1 touchdown last year. Their fullback, who's a staple of Beamer offense, is Riley Bureau. Now at 5'9" and 229 pounds, he only played the first 4 games of last season, but a shoulder injury ended his season. but he's more of a threat as an H-back than he is running, so you'll see him more as a receiver coming out of the backfield. Now the wide receiver court took a big hit to graduation. Now as a result, not only does he have to worry about, Thomas has to worry about his mechanics, but he's going to have to worry about really the drop-off after senior DJ Coles, who's coming back from injury. 6'4", 238, when he's healthy, he's as good as anyone. But he reminds him of a guy who graduated in Marcus Davis. Who was one of 3 receivers gone to graduation. Now Coles, like Davis, is a big, strong target who could fly with the best of them when healthy. In 2011, he had 36 receptions for 480 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now on the other side, they have sophomore Dimitri Knowles-back. He's a much smaller and faster version of Coles, but at 6'1" and 177 pounds, he's still available. However, their staff believes he has the speed and the afterburners to be a deep threat. But the area he still needs to work on more is the short to intermediate game. And he has to have better hands. And at tight end, they have junior Ryan Malik back, who started 7 games for them. 6'4", 248. He's a better pass catcher than he is a blocker. And he caught 17 passes for 174 yards last year. Now he makes very good adjustments to the balls in the air, and the expectations will be much higher this year now that he's fully recovered from last year's neck stinger, and he will be Thomas's go-to guy here. Now after Coles, Knowles, and Malik, the rest of the core is very young and will evolve as the season goes on. Coles' backup is redshirt freshman Joshua Stanford. He has big play capabilities, but an injury last season stripped him of a chance to be an immediate impact player. If he can learn this new offense on the go, there's some big plays to be made here for him. Now Knowles' backup is sophomore Kevin Asante. Now like Stanford, he could not stay healthy all season, but he did make 2 catches for 18 yards in just 10 games. Now, let's go to the offensive line. If they really want to really make a statement, the offensive line has got to step up. But they're going to break in 2 new tackle bookends in freshman Jonathan McLaughlin and Lawrence Gibson, both freshmen, on the left and right side respectively. Now the center and both guard spots have returning experience, which is the strength of that unit. Right guard, they're going to have senior Andrew Miller, who started the first 7 games as center before breaking his ankle and missing the rest of the year. However, by the end of the spring, they moved him over to right guard. Now at 6'4" and 293 pounds, he was a former wrestler, but he benefits from having his toughness, and he can use his hands very effectively. Now with Miller moving over to right guard, that opens the door for 6'3", 303-pound junior Khalid Farris to move over to the center position. Now Farris actually filled in for Miller last year, starting the last 5 games after Miller got hurt. Now new offensive line coach Jeff Grimes likes his blockers' versatility, and he also gave him so much so he gave him occasional reps at the left guard spot. However, the starter at left guard will be junior Brent Benedict, 6'5", 301 pounds, who transferred from Georgia, and he's out of Jacksonville, Florida. This guy is a stud, and he started 6 games in 2012, adjusting to a new system. He has the maturity, he works hard, and he's very powerful at the point of contact. And he comes off a huge offseason in the weight room. Also coming back is 6'3", 291-pound junior Mac Arkema, who started 2 games at left guard, but is currently Ferris's backup center. Let's not forget there's experience in David Wan, who's 6'2", 291, who started 10 games last year. Now, if healthy, this guy is an animal with a mean streak. But injuries, including a foot injury in April, have kept him out of the lineup. In closing, now yes, Virginia Tech will have a better year than they did last year. Okay? But after they get spanked by Alabama, we can all agree on that. The standard in Blacksburg is to get to Charlotte. That's been the MO for years, and that's not going to change. They do not get FSU or Clemson this year, which is very, very important to that cause. But of course, the big game for them is on November 9th when they come down to face us at Sun Life Stadium. I'm going to say the prediction for Virginia Tech in 2013 is 10-2. In part 10 of the series, we'll talk about the Duke Blue Devils.